What is the difference between dealing with an ex who wasn't married to your husband, or let's say the baby mama, versus the ex-wife? They are very similar, but there are nuances, okay? We're going to get into the specifics in terms of the baby mama and why this dynamic has its own challenges. Welcome back to Before You Do with Verlyn. I'm your host and your favorite premarital coach. What do I mean when I say that when you are married to a man who is dealing with a controlling, manipulating baby mama, why do I say that is a different type of challenge versus the ex-wife? Let me break it down to you this way. Imagine this. You have been with a man, let's say 6 or 7 years. You have 2 or 3 children. No marriage. You have spent 3 children and 7 years hoping and looking at this man as if he was your husband. Now, that man for 7 years was looking at you as just something to do to kill the time, a placeholder until he found the woman of his dreams. All right. So here we are. You, the next wife or the new wife, you come along, he meets you, all of a sudden, he has no reservations. You are the woman he has waited for the past 10, 12 years. And now he is ready to throw caution to the wind, forget everything he knows, because you are the woman he has always looked for. You are the woman he wants. You are the woman he dreamt of. And now you're together, and that baby mama is feeling some kind of way. Why? Because she invested time, energy, hopes, dreams, thinking that one day, if she just has one more baby, if she pays one more bill, he's going to marry me. If I stick by his side through one more challenge, I know he's going to love me and marry me. This is the dilemma that often women find themselves in, thinking that they can do more and be more and become that man's dream woman when they are not. And most of the time they know they're not, but they are willing to take what they can get in hopes that everything will change. And all of a sudden, zap, bada bing, bada boom. He's going to look at her differently and say, you know what? Let's get married. I want to make you my wife. I want to be with you forever. And when that does not happen, and he meets you and he says, I want you to be my wife, there will be hell to pay. And here's the thing. She's mad at him. She's mad at herself because she knew the truth, but she's still mad at you. And so you are caught in the crossfire because now she is determined that unless some miracle occurs and some man scoops her up with 3 children, or some man scoops her up and says, you're the woman of my dreams, she is hell-bent on making sure that you, the woman of his dreams, will become his nightmare. And knowing this, you have to learn how to navigate through this if you want a successful marriage, not just, well, we're going to stay together, we got bills to pay, but you want to be happy and you want him to be happy and you want to build something. Understand this, you are in for the time of your life. And I don't mean in a fun, fantastic way. I mean that baby mama is going to be gunning for you, and she's going to use all her resources. She will use all of her resources, which will include the children. Make no bones about it. There will be no shame. There will be no guilt. Why? Because she is looking at you walk off with the man she wanted. She is looking at you walk off with her hopes and her dreams of being a wife. Not only that, she is feeling some kind of way because in a sense, she's stuck with the children. Of course, you want to marry a man who's involved, who's active, who loves his children, who's taking care of his children, who is present. But at the same time, it's not the same. She wanted to build a family, and now the conceived family in her mind is gone. It's shattered. It's broken. Okay. And now you're walking in the picture. In addition to the fact that you will be around her children. I can promise you, she is not feeling that one bit. She already has animosity because you got her man. Now you're going to be around her children. Now you're going to be hugging them, showing them affection, giving them attention, playing family, playing mommy. You're going to have something on your hands. And I'm here painting the picture. So if you're not married already, you can really sit down and have conversations with your man, explaining your concerns. So you can map this stuff out, map these issues out rather, and have a plan in place. And this may sound ridiculous, and it takes a level of maturity. But if you're really serious about building a healthy, happy home with your husband, you may need to sit down. And I'm not telling you to do this. I am saying this is an option. All right. That's my disclaimer. I'm not a counselor. I'm not licensed telling you to do anything. I'm explaining your options. All right. You may need to all three sit down and have a conversation. Or perhaps if she can be open and mature, the two of you sit down and have a conversation of how you want to navigate things moving forward. Because what she needs to know is it's not your fault. And she knows that, but in a way she doesn't know it. But it is not your fault. And in order for her to feel comfortable with the children, she will have to not necessarily embrace you, but understand the idea that you and her and the man are going to have to work together collectively to make sure that these children are good. It's not even about the two of you at this point in a sense, but it's about what I'll say, innocent victims. The children did not ask to be born into all of this. They didn't ask to be in the middle of chaos. They don't really have a choice in the matter. They just show up. Right? And they get what they get and they can't throw a fit. And so it would be a good idea to sit down and try to have a mature adult conversation saying, you know what? I'm not your enemy. I don't have anything to do with what happens before me. But I want to say this, that I promise I'm going to be the best person involved. Don't say mother. Don't even say stepmother at this point. Just say the best person involved in your child's life so that they will feel safe, so that they will feel at home, that they will feel loved. Maybe not so much at first in person, but maybe on the phone. The telephone can be a viable option because you don't want to send texts. Texts, no bueno. They can be misconstrued. The tone can come off wrong. Having serious conversations via text, that's like one of the worst ideas because you can't hear tone, you can't hear inflection, you can't hear the emotion behind it. Whereas a phone call, you can. You can hear the person's voice. You can hear whether a person is warm or you can hear whether a person is annoyed. And so if you were to have a conversation, it can be around the children because most mothers, even when we are at our worst, all right, about the daddy and all of that, we want our children to be okay. And because the children are involved, you already know that that baby mama is going to be around for a very long time. You can almost say forever. And I always say this, even when the children or the child grows up and they're 15, 20, 22, 23. Eventually, that child's going to celebrate something. They're going to be engaged, hopefully. First, they're going to be married. And when they get married, all of these things will be commonplaces where you, your husband, and the baby mom are going to meet. And so it's good to kind of iron these things out because you're going to always see her. And then when the first grandbaby is born, she's going to be there. When the second grandbaby, when the grandbaby turns 2, all of these family functions, graduations, funerals, that baby mama is going to be there. And if you plan to stay with your husband, then that means you two are going to be there. There will always be some connection. When my first granddaughter was born, I was remarried already, and my ex-husband was remarried, and we were all at the hospital. We were all together in the lobby. And then myself and my daughter's new stepmom, we were in the room together. So even though my daughter was in her 20s and married, we were still all interacting. All right. It never ends. And so it's best to go ahead and make peace now. It's best to work to navigate around that baby mama because you don't want to always have the drama. We all know we can't control other people's actions, all right? But you can do the best you can do to show up as the best version of yourself, for your husband, for your marriage, and for the children that are involved. Again, because they are the innocent victims, or they are the ones that are also caught in the crossfire. And having this discussion is putting you in the mindset of understanding. A lot of times we just look at how a person is acting or the baby mama and we say, she's crazy, she's nuts. And sometimes the man will say that, which I would be leery. Whenever I've heard a man say something like, oh yeah, she's crazy, you got to wonder, was she crazy when she met you? Or all of a sudden after she meets you, she's crazy. But yeah, so you might think, look how she's acting. She's out of her mind. She doesn't have boundaries. She's way, way out there. She's got a bad attitude. All of these things, you have to remember why she may be like that. Because in her mind, the whole world she thought she was building and the life she was building has fallen apart. She's looking at you wondering, what does she have that I didn't have? Why did he want to marry her and not me? Why does he love her and he didn't love me? There are a lot of emotions that baby mama is going through. You got to remember, she has busted her tail 2, 3, sometimes 4 times for that man with the false hopes that one day they would be a family or that she would be a wife. And now she's looking at you saying, she's got what I wanted. She's got the man I wanted. She's got the life. She's got the ring. And so guess what? She is going to feel some kind of way for a very long time. Most likely she's not going to embrace you anytime soon, if ever. You might as well get used to that idea, which is why you need to think about this before you say I do, all right? If you're already married, I hope I'm giving you another perspective. So you're not just looking at the fact she's crazy. She's trying to make my life a living hell. You can actually say, you know what? Now I'm starting to put 2 and 2 together and understand how she feels. And that can help you navigate through that relationship, that dynamic that I said is going to always be there, because it doesn't matter how old those children get, grandchildren come, and then great grandchildren. I mean, it never ends. And of course, if these are happy children, they're going to be graduating. They're going to be going to parties. They're going to have sports events. They're going to go to the prom. They're going to graduate. All of these are life celebrations and all the things that go along with having children. And so you're going to always be showing up to something unless you plan to be in the background, which I would not advise. So again, I'm bringing you some understanding so you can get into the mind and the emotions of the baby mama. She didn't get the ring. She wasn't able to say, well, I'm Mrs. So-and-so or I'm former Mrs. So-and-so. She was just the baby mama. And although some may wear that as a badge of honor, trust me, when that man wifes somebody, they don't see that as a badge of honor. They see that almost as a badge of shame or humiliation or doubt. They start doubting themselves because why did I give him 3 children? Why did I pay all the rent? Why did I stick around for 7 years? And what do I have to show for it? Absolutely nothing. That is the mindset. And that's what I'm trying to help you understand so you can have a little patience. In the meantime, may you experience extraordinary love. Make sure you visit my website, verlyntarleton.com. Thank you for joining the conversation.